There we go. We should be live. I've got my chat open on my little tablet here, so I should be able to respond to what you say before and during the race. But today's plan is fairly simple. We're going to be taking on the VirtuSlo 4Endurance Zwift League. It's now split up in two kinds of races, the Bars League and the Gels League. We're going to do the, I think, 28-kilometer version of it, quite hilly today, but also not unbearable, so should be fun. Hello, chat. Welcome to our live stream of the day. It's been 2 weeks since our last race, because last week I couldn't do it. But today we're taking on stage 5, and let me take a look here. Let's go to routes. No, not to routes. Let's go to events. That's what we need. Let's scroll down. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Is everything working correctly? If so, confirm in chat. The VirtuSlo 4Endurance Bars League, or is it the big one? The Gels or the Bars? Let's take a look. I think it's Bars. Yes, it is. So VirtuSlo 4Endurance Bars League. 31 kilometers is a short one today, and the long one is 42 kilometers. Kind of feel like I want to do the longer one, but the longer one is like 3.4 to 3.7 watts per kilo, so I don't think that's gonna happen, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have the watts for that. There we go. Let's join the Bars League, and let's might as well already go into the tournament, you know? Hello, Tour. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to our live stream. So, I don't know what my ambitions are for this. I have not looked up the actual parkour of the race, so that's probably not the smartest idea ever. Zwift route, let me look it up at the moment. What's the limits is I think the name of the route. Route details, it's a New York route on Zwift. We've got, I don't think I've ever ridden this parkour, to be honest. Let's take a look if I remember it from anywhere. It's not the hardest parkour I've ever seen. There's a few hills in it. Starts off flat, but then there's a climb after 3 to 4 kilometers that is about 500 meters, but quite steep in places. So that's going to be trying to hold on to whatever group I'm in. And there's 4 steep climbs like that, maybe 5. So I think that's the thing we need to focus on. 26 minutes until we start, so quite a bit of time. So you're welcome to ask any questions. I'll also try to do a small warm-up before we start, because I have not done too much physical activity today. I've been on the computer most of the day. Tour asks, I can't hear which province you're from in Belgium. I'm from West Flanders, so I speak West Flemish, which for the people that are not from Flanders, it's basically a language, a dialect that the majority of Belgium would not understand a single word I'm saying if I was talking West Flemish. If anything, it sounds a little bit more like French sometimes. But yeah, for a few years now, I was considering maybe doing as like an April 1st prank, recording a full PCM video, but speaking West Flemish instead of English. And I think it would be funny, but the joke would only land for West Flemish people. So I don't think it would be funny enough for the majority of my audience, so that's why I didn't do it. And also, it's so much work to then put subtitles on the video, so that's the one thing I wouldn't be looking forward to, you know? Anyway, let's get our boy in the correct camera angle to make sure that we don't forget to do that later. Third person, that's how I prefer to ride. Does anyone ever use a different camera angle on Zwift? I generally have not ever used a different one. Always third person, especially in races, you know? Welcome, Seelan. How are you, my friend? Joran asked, did you train a lot the last weeks? I wouldn't classify my last couple of weeks as training a lot. That said, I have been doing quite a bit of strength sessions, so off the bike, whether it's weightlifting or body-related exercises, that I've been doing quite a bit though. And when I do those, the first 1.5 days afterwards, I'm worth nothing physically, because I really push myself in those strength workouts. So I think it's maybe negatively impacted the amount of volume I have on the bicycle. But I hope that it's just because I'm starting strength sessions that it feels like that. I hope that I can manage the volume of cycling and strength sessions properly in a couple of weeks. That's my idea. Additionally, I also feel like I want to increase the amount of strength stuff I do throughout the week to not just 1.5 workout to now 2.5, 3 workouts. Yeah, obviously I'd like to make videos about cycling and not strength sessions. Maybe one with strength session video would be good, just to show you what I do. But that's not going to be for any time soon. I'm too much of a newbie to do that, I would say. Sam Winkless in chat says, how long have you been using Zwift? I've been using Zwift since 2021, I would say. I think so, but to be clear, back then in 2021, I was completely dead after 27 minutes of riding at 130 watts because I weighed 130 kilos. I was completely out of shape. I did no sports or exercises in the last years before that. I was in terrible shape. So, I sometimes feel a bit disappointed in how much I've progressed in the last year, in terms of weight especially, but that's mostly because I have not gone all out and I know that's my own fault. But then when I look back at where I started, and even where I was 2 years ago, I'm much better than I was 2 years ago. So I shouldn't be so harsh on myself. Instead, I should just try to motivate myself by looking back, how much I can improve if I do put myself 100% behind trying to get better weight-wise and on the bike. Because, like, yeah, I have lost weight in the last month, but it's like a kilo and a half, which is fine. But then I need to keep it up the next month and a half. And sometimes that has been a problem in the last 2 years, where I then take a month less serious and then I gain half a kilo and then I get demotivated by that. I need to get over that. I need to find a way to get over that. But I genuinely don't know how many people are going to show up for this one. This is the shorter route, because basically after the previous VirtuSlo 4Endurance League, which was the racing series we did back in December, January, we had 6 races in that. They were all super long, hard races. The organizers decided to change that for this season. And in this season, it's basically split up in the Gels League, which is for the better cyclists, which I'm not a part of, sadly. And that's like 3.4 watts per kilo and up in terms of 20-minute FTP. Not 20-minute FTP, 20-minute power or FTP in general. I don't know. I haven't actually checked which of the two values needs to be at that level. But I'm in the Bars League because I'm fighting with 1 to 2.5 watts per kilo, which I'm at the top margin of. The problem is that 2.5 watts per kilo at the top margin, I don't know, like if someone weighs 70 kilos and does 2.5 watts per kilo and I weigh still 100 and I do like 2.1, 2.2 for a whole climb, then I get mass dropped, you know? So that's my weakness, still climbing, so I need to lose weight. I know that. I've lost weight over the last years and I need to keep doing that. And I'm okay with that challenge. Tour says, road to podium in the next years? Tubercross question mark, I'll be there. And next year, road to podium in next year's Tubercross. I don't know. First of all, it's perfectly up, it's up to Average Rob whether he wants to invite me again for a second one. I really enjoyed riding it at the end of last year. I regret maybe not making a video of it, but I was too stressed about the whole video making process about vlogging it that I ended up not vlogging enough to make a good video out of it, which is a sad reality. I don't know, maybe I want to do it again in the future, but on the other hand, I leave that fully up to Rob. If he wants to invite other people or sees it go in a different direction, I'm fine with that, you know? It's also because I don't live in Belgium, so it's very hard for me to like travel back and forth to Belgium from the UK where I live on a short notice. Because last time I got my invite this December, 9 days before the Turbocross started or something. So I was literally in Tenerife at that time. I flew back to the UK on my planned return from that trip, and then a few days later I already had to go to Belgium. I then contacted Sirocco. Hey guys, Sirocco, my cycling kit sponsor. Could you send me some gravel shoes? Massive shout out to Sirocco for doing that. If you ever need cycling kit, there's a link in the description, 10% off for any cycling kit. They even do skiing and hiking stuff now. But massive shout out to them because they sent me that in 1 or 2 days. Then I shoved some what do you call that? Mountain bike cleats. That's what I was looking for. SPD cleats on those gravel shoes. Then I trained how to use those new cleats, because I'm always used to using Look cleats on my shoes. Lukio? Yes. I'm so used to calling them a Look that I forgot whether it had a name or not. In the meanwhile, I'll try and ride a little bit, by the way, while I'm yapping. But, and yeah, then I started training for it in the last 4 days or something, which was a bit of a rush, but I guess I got a lot of volume in 4 days, that's for sure. I literally came back from the Turbocross having my entire legs, this thigh and the other thigh, completely bruised. Oh, anyway. If it stays a once-in-a-lifetime experience, I'll have happily lived through it. But yeah, there's some other things I want to do this year. It depends on what my travel plans can be, because I mentioned it in another pre-CM video recently, in a Pro Cycling Manager video, that this is the year in which I need to extend my visa to stay living in the UK. And during that visa extension process, I'm not allowed to leave the UK, which sadly is between April, May and June, so no visit to the Giro, no Paris-Roubaix Sportive, perhaps not even going to Czechia, which I had planned. I have literally booked a trip to Czechia in June to be able to ride Ven-Top the Tour there, but I might not be able to do it if my visa application extension is happening. There is an alternative. I could pay an additional £1,000, I'm dead serious. That is the cost, to have an express route to my visa, but I'm not sure I'm willing to do that yet. It depends on whether it's really worth it for me to pay that. Because for the people that don't know, extending my visa itself will already cost me like £4,500. So add another £1,000 to that, yeah, you can guess where my YouTube ad revenue is going to, being allowed to live in the UK. Hello Peter, welcome to the chat, or Peter. Sealand says, loved your exchange with Patrick Ree, Maria and the Maria Borrestraat. That was special. Ali Burrs asks, Benji, when will the Kubish curse end? I don't know, man. So many second places for the Rockets in Bessèges. And I gotta say, it came to the point that I didn't even feel bad for them anymore. I found it hilarious when they kept finishing second. But of course, that did end today, because they, I think, got maybe 4th in the stage? Or was it 4th in GC? One of the two. I think maybe both, actually. Because I think in GC they ended 4th and 5th with Kubic and Larsen, I think. Could be wrong. Or actually in the stage, Kubic might have been like 35 seconds back or something, so might not have finished 4th either in the stage. I don't know. Don't remember the exact results. Welcome, Laszlo. How are you, my friend? Appreciate all of you being in chat, hyping me up for this race in which I hope to not get dropped instantly. But even if I do, the reality is, if you ever feel dropped, or if you ever get dropped at the start of a Zwift race, let's say we start a Zwift race, you get dropped 2 kilometers in, it's a 28-kilometer race. Who cares? Every pedal stroke you put, every meter you ride, every climb you take on is training. Yes, you might not be competing in the race you're doing, but not every race needs to be perfect. Every race that you don't have a perfect result is still a great workout. So take the workout, accept the workout. A failed race is a good workout. That's my perspective. So if I get dropped today, I will care for a second, but then I'll switch my mindset and I'll jump into training mode. I'll finish the race at my tempo then, and we'll see where we finish. And at the end of the day, I'll have a workout, and I'll be happy with that. That's my announcement of the day. Ali Burr says, I remember when you stumbled into the Surrey Cycle Club Discord. Yes. I'm afraid I think I did that when I lived in the area around Guildford. But that's not the case anymore, I'm afraid. I'm now an Oxfordian, or whatever you call that. Got a bit of an ache in my right knee, but I think it's just from, I don't know. I have no clue why. Let's see what happens in the race. I think it's just a little bit of an ache that will go away. I don't expect it to be permanent in the race. On that note, though, I do think that in the long run, maybe even the next couple of months, I might consider getting an actual bike fit done for my indoor bike, for my Zwift ride. And of course, because like, when you get a Zwift ride, hypothetically, #ad, you stumble into the description of this video, you accidentally buy a Zwift ride with my discount code. And it arrives at your home, you get like a bit of a piece of paper with like preset settings for default height. So for example, I'm like 1.91 m, 189 maybe on a bad day because of posture. So I can just see on that little piece of paper, okay, saddle needs to be that high. My reach needs to be that. And you just adjust the bike easily, but those are default settings. Every single person is different. When you put two people of my height next to each other on a bicycle, their ideal position will most likely be slightly different, depending on previous injuries, certain aches in their body, different body shapes, etc. Also, different saddles that they require, do not have saddle sores, whatever. So I reckon I at least want to get the same saddle as I have on my outdoor bike. And in general, get the bike adjusted to what my outdoor bike is like, because that one is fully set up to me. Even though the last time I came from a trip, I think it was from Tenerife actually, I put my bike back together and I might not have screwed everything correctly, because when I was doing a bit of a gravel ride in a nearby forest, I'm like sitting lower. My saddle obviously dropped because I was being stupid when I put it together. And like 10 meters further in a downhill, my whole handlebars roll over because I forgot to tighten them properly. Horrible, horrible. Imagine if I'm like riding really fast at that moment. Could have really crashed and hurt myself. So next time, I'm gonna double check. Rookie mistakes. What's the goal in this race, says Laszlo? I will be honest, I don't know. It's, I think, 28 to 31 kilometers, depending on the run-in. There's 5 to 6 steep hills of 500 meters. As in, yes, the gradient of the climb might be 500 meters at 3 to 4%, which is not steep. But there's a max gradient of like 13% on those climbs. So there's at least a segment on the climb that is steep. So it really depends on those climbs for me. Because, spoilers, I don't weigh 70 kilos. And other spoilers, if you don't weigh 70 kilos, you most likely won't climb very fast. So, unless you push like 500 watts, which I clearly don't, I'll try. Anyway, I'll push a little bit more for the next minute and a half just to get a bit of a proper warm-up. Because while I've been doing 100 watts for a bit now, want to put a bit of pressure on my legs, clear out the legs. Ceylon says, set your trainer difficulty to 20%. That won't change anything because I still have to push the actual watts. My issue is not that the gearing becomes difficult to push, because I'm using a Zwift ride so I can go down in gear as much as I want. The actual problem is that I need to push 500 watts. That's the problem. So regardless of your trainer difficulty, you still gotta push the watts, you know? Welcome, Zach. How are you? Hello, Flying. How are you doing, sir? 9 minutes until the start. Got about 5 people in the lobby right now. There's a lot more people in the big race. A lot less people in the small race that I'm in. Also because back in the day, in the previous tournament version of this, back in December, November, in the VirtuSlo League, there were like 5 categories, I think. Now there's 10, so that's why there's less people per category. Lastly, I've got to mention these guys right here. This is a endurance energy juice bar. Smashed one of these in just before the stream started to get a bit of carbs in. But on top of that, I gotta give a massive shout out to 4Endurance for not only sponsoring this live stream and this whole tournament, to be honest, but also for the support they've given me over the last 2 years. They've been a wonderful partner throughout the last 2 years, and I've been a massive fan of their nutrition throughout because it's good nutrition and affordable. You can get a discount if you want through the description. I promise you, that's the final ad in this video. But I had to get it in there. So yeah, massive shout out to 4Endurance. Link below in the description to get 10% off for first-time customers. But okay, I've got one more juice bar ready for midway the race. I won't go for a full gel, because otherwise I'll be overloading a bit in carbs, I think. Which, for me, that is possible, I can tell you. I don't have unlimited stomach capabilities. 7 minutes to go. In the chat on Zwift, someone's asking for a slow race. I'm also begging for it, buddy, don't worry. Let's try and have some fun on the bike. Then again, usually when it involves a bit of climbing, there's not that much fun to be had. Question for chat. How is everyone feeling? Cycling season is on. We had Tour Down Under. Valenciana just finished with Remco winning. How are you feeling about Remco? Was pretty damn strong in the last week, but it's also not against the Pogacars of the world, which that's of course a different level. I do feel like I've got a little bit more confidence in Remco than I had maybe in the off season. Because like, winning is winning, you know? Yes, it can be smaller races like Mallorca Challenges and Valenciana, but it's also not completely dog shit competition in Valenciana. But also for the rest, I'm getting into the season. I'm a little bit sad that Jonas is not going to the UAE Tour after his crash and an illness afterwards, because we obviously want to see him as much as possible in races. Would have been a nice fight between the three, Jonas Remco and Isaac Del Toro. But now I actually can't say for certain who's going to win UAE Tour. I still think it would be Remco over Isaac Del Toro, but we don't know whether Del Toro has progressed since last year. I'm just a bit scared for him on Jebel Mobra, because that's a monster of a climb. And maybe a couple of years ago I would have said I would have been scared for Remco on that climb, especially against Jonas. Question. Would you like to see more Zwift racing throughout the week? I think you would. But by telling you this, I'm trying to get some accountability on myself to actually do it. Because I think it would be fun if I do like 2 or 3 Zwift race streams per week. Even if it's a few Mickey Mouse races in between. Just to get my confidence on the bike up again. But also I think it would be fun in general. If so, I might switch to doing 2 or 3 in the next couple of weeks. To do more Zwift content in general. Because I've been struggling to edit the Zwift videos. So having streams instead during these races could be a potential alternative until I get that sorted, you know? Okay, chat seems very hyped about that idea, so I think that's happening. 13 people in the race. That sounds fun. Flying says you should do one of the 1 kilometer or 1 mile sprint events. I would love to do that, but I sometimes feel like it then becomes a 1 kilometer, 1 mile sprint instead of a 200 meter sprint at the end of a race, you know? So I tend to prefer doing like 15 to 20 kilometer, relatively flat races where I know I can hold on, and then trying to beat people. Because that's also a little bit more fulfilling because I know I can sprint, you know? I know that if I can go to the finish, have some energy left, I can pull out 1,000 watts in a sprint. But the question is, can I get over the climb in the parkour? Can I hold on to the group if they're going a bit too hard for me? That's where I need to get better. But I agree with you that I would love to do that at least a few times, and maybe even do the, what are they called again? They're not called the mini races, the Saturday ones, the tiny races. I want to do one of those again pretty soon, maybe on live stream. Because that is absolute torture, I can tell you. Minute 50 to go. At the moment, I'm feeling good. But I've got a feeling that isn't going to last too long. As always, you know. Still 13 people in the race, so the race is about to begin in 1 minute and 24 seconds. This time I actually did a bit of a warm-up, so that's good. Parkour-wise, if you want, chat, if you've got nothing to do in the next half an hour, you're welcome to open the profile of the What's the Limit route on Zwift, because that's the one we're doing. And tell me when a climb approaches and such. I've got the profile in front of me, but it's always good to know for certain. Anyway, I'm ready to cook or get cooked. 37 seconds to go. Warning, during the race when I'm suffering, I might not talk too much. You're welcome to ask questions. I'll go back to those questions once I've recovered. Okay. Three, two, one. Let's go. Let's not start too fast. That guy's starting very fast. I'll let him go. I don't care about him going. It's 31k to go. I'll just stay in this group. I've got a feeling there might be a small climb coming pretty soon already. Could be wrong. Gotta stay in the wheel here.
Enjoyable tempo so far? A few people off the back, but a climb coming, so gotta make sure I get over it with these people. Okay, that was doable. Good start. Stay in the wheel. You might have noticed in the last couple of races and live streams, at the top of our screen, under the distance bar, you can see a very narrow blue horizontal line that changes in width. That is a draft bar. It tells me whether I'm perfectly or imperfectly in the draft of the rider in front of me. So for example, right now I'm not in the draft, so let's move right and try and get in the wheel. There we go. That's better. I love that add-on to Zwift. Great update. Small climb again. Not that steep, so let's stay in the wheel. Let's stay in the wheel, come on. That one guy is once again attacking. It's fine for me. Still 30K to go, you know. Okay. Now it's a bit of flat. Stay in the group. Perfectly in the draft, so that's good. Like, I don't really feel like chasing that guy down, you know? Don't want to waste my energy this early in the race. And on paper, a group of 5 should be able to catch up if we work together. It's even 6 people in this group, so just roll through. The nice things about the intermittent downhills is that I get to recover quite a bit. Laszlo in chat says, get a bit of momentum before the hill start. I agree. We did well doing that on the first climb. Let's try and make sure we do that again on the second climb soon, in about 3 kilometers. For now, I'll just sit in the group, maybe relay every now and then, but not too much either. By the way, I do have some good news. In the last week, we had FiberNet installed in this village, and it's already connected, so my internet should be a lot better in the future, which is good, both for my live streams and videos and also for the podcast. Because before this installation, I was literally forced to use Starlink, which for download speed is okay, but upload speed is horrible. Because nothing else was available in this village. Okay. That one guy is really loving his solos, isn't he? Literally riding 3 seconds ahead the entire time. Either great training or a complete waste of energy. You choose. Oh no. I just realized that the uphill sections, or the steep uphill sections with, I think, the blue arrows upwards, which I'm actually not a fan of because my weight negatively impacts my momentum on that climb. So I don't get the same boost as other people do because of the fact that I'm overweight, which I guess it's my own fault, but but I would prefer it to be the same, you know? Anyway, that one dude has been caught, but now we've got a French guy trying to make a gap. I'll just stay in the group. As simple as that. Stay in the draft especially. That is key. Oh, don't go outside of the draft. Perfect. Pretty soon we have the second climb, which should be an elevator or escalator climb, which I'll need to get momentum to get into the climb, to hold on over the top. Right there in front of us. Let's get ready. Let's try and move up in the group before the climb starts. Let's increase momentum. This is going to be so steep. Perfect. Now recover, because my heart rate did spike, because I maybe went a bit too fast there. Just stay in the wheel. Stay in the wheel and recover. Question, Chad. The upcoming intermediate sprint in about 5 to 7 kilometers, is that on the Brooklyn Bridge, or am I inventing that? Or is it just a random climb? Because the Brooklyn Bridge is quite tough for me on Zwift. So I'm hoping it's a simpler climb. So Alessandro, the thing is, for the average person, I agree that would be the right strategy, but I've noticed that with my weight, it doesn't really work like that. I tend to just drop if I don't push. So I really need to, sadly. Oh, on a bit of a gap, let's close it. Flying says top of the Manhattan, no Brooklyn Bridge, okay. Manhattan Bridge. I assume Manhattan Bridge is not too tough, based on the way you said it. People are pushing on the flat, so gotta make sure I stay in the draft. There we go. Let's give everybody a bit of a ride on, shall we? Sportsmanship. Look at it. So chat says Manhattan Bridge is slightly easier. Thank you. I'll just pretend in my head that it's super easy. And just smash it. That's always a really bad strategy, so let's not do that. Back into the metro. And as you can see, because of my weight, I do get quite a bit of momentum outside of the downhill. So that's always great. Look at it. Don't even need to pedal. Get shot all the way to the front. Good way to recover, you know? Guys, I'm in first position. We're winning. So beautiful. I gotta say, it's been a while since I've ridden in first position in this Zwift race. So, feeling good about my race so far. The fact that I can talk as much as I am means I'm not feeling too bad. But hey, Manhattan Bridge is coming just after a escalator uphill as well, so gotta make sure I'm in the group over the top. Voila, small gap. Let's start moving up towards the uphill. Let's have a sip. Oh, that's cold. Perfectly in the draft. Moving up to the climbing segment. A bit early though. Still a bit to go. Still a K to go, I think, maybe. Okay, let's start moving up. There we go. That's good. Now recover, because the climb is coming. Stay in the draft. The group is pushing. I don't like it. I want a relaxed tempo to the climb. Come on, Chad. For the next minute, I'll focus on not dropping. So Might not talk too much. I can do this. Just keep pedaling. Like Dory from Finding Nemo. Just keep pedaling. Hold on. Yes, I keep following. Okay, downhill. Let's try to recover. That's so cold. Hi, ay, I can do this. I believe in this. Just gotta try and recover on the flat. I like this Dekai guy from Slovenia. He gives no shits. climbs over, downhill's done, goes back into the front, keeps on pacing. I don't have that in me. Anyway, 12K done, 19 to go. Manhattan Bridge one more time in the second half, but also a bit of an upcoming climb in 5K. What is that climb, Chad? What are we looking at? Because I don't know it. Is it once again an escalator or not? Because I've proven to myself that I can do escalators. Well, actually, we are going into the metro, so makes me think that it is an escalator. How's the sound quality of the stream and such, by the way? Because I've got a new microphone, but I didn't really optimize the settings yet, so don't know if you can hear the fan a lot or something. Okay, Zach in chat says it's an escalator. Good to know. Okay, Alessandro Zeta says that after the escalator there's another 300 meters at 2%. Good to know. Gregory says it's out the Zwift. Imagine, I would perish, bro. I'd be completely dead. Let's do this. Thanks for the motivation, Chad. Appreciate it. I'm really happy I'm somewhat competitive today, because 2 weeks ago, the live stream was basically everybody watching me climb for an hour, getting dropped by everybody, and then downhilling into last position. And the one time I passed someone in the last live stream, he disconnected. He was like, nah, you're still coming last, Benji. Ay, ay, ay. Let's stay in the wheel here. Uphill incoming pretty soon. The watts in between the climbs are really low, which is good for me, because it allows me to recover a bit. Like 150 heart rate is not perfect, but it's better than 180, you know? 180 is literally basically my max, or almost. But yeah, on Manhattan Bridge, I went up to 175 watts, which is usually where if I do that multiple times in a row, I crack. But the fact that I've only done it once so far is good. Anyway, let's move up. But as Alessandro said, falls flat after the top of this escalator. Gotta keep that in mind. That guy's moving. Okay, false flat done, but that was not easy. Gotta recover. The thing is, Laszlo, you're right that if I feel good, I should pace, but I'm not that type of rider, I think, because my benefit is a really passive race and a sprint at the end, which is what it is so far. So the least amount of short burst efforts I need to do, or the least amount of pacing I need to do, the more likely I can get over the top of the Manhattan Bridge, which is going to be the important factor of this race for me. And that's the next climb. Trying to recover, but these guys are really pushing. Gotta stay in the wheel. Whew. That was a bit of a burst, holy, on the flat as well. Nicely following into the downhill. This is my terrain. I'm not trying to pull here, but accidentally did. Halfway the race, past the halfway point actually. The next climb's gonna be super important, but my legs are starting to feel it, so I don't know if it's possible, but we gotta keep pushing. I'll keep pushing until I crack. I don't come here to finish third. Gotta follow. Oh, whenever that green guy gets to the front, the tempo goes up significantly. It's terrifying. I'm struggling a bit, to be honest. Next up is Manhattan Bridge again, but I'm struggling. I'll try my best. I'm gonna smash in a juice bar, or at least half of it. Shout out to 4Endurance. Go on! Ah! Fuck! Ah! Ah! Fuck! Ah! Fuck. I can't talk. Sorry. "22 seconds. That's not happening. That's a bummer. And like, right now, I'm kind of recovered, but obviously not enough to catch 28 seconds, but I will finish fifth with ease. Like, the guy behind me is not coming closer. But I was so close to following. Not really, but in my head I was close. That said, I'm happy this race went a lot better than 2 weeks ago. Despite not having ridden 7 hours on the bike or so per week, my strength sessions are helping also. So that's nice. And like, part of Zwift racing is not just being physically good enough, it's also mentally for me. For example, the last race was a mountain race, I've mentioned it earlier. I finished last, which is logical, but also on top of that, it wasn't good for my motivation because I really needed like a quick motivation win after the last 2 weeks of not necessarily having the best training. Pavel in chat says, Jakub Mareshko performance. Well, technically, Mareshko would have dropped on the first Manhattan Bridge. So yeah, basically, I am quite happy with my race today. I'm gonna ride it in. I'll use the last 7.5k as recovery. I'll make sure I do finish fifth. Don't want to get caught by the Italian. What do you think, Chad? Which of the 4 riders in Group 1 is gonna win? Like, on the climb, when the Spaniard jumped from my wheel all the way to the first 3, I was like, holy shit, this guy is so strong. And then he had a gap over the top, but he got caught, so I've got a feeling that Slovenian guy, that guy, might be slightly heavier than the other 3, which might help for a sprint. So, I don't know, the French guy was also pretty good at the start, you know? What do you think? Celine in chat says Ara, the Spanish guy, will win. Anyway, my plan for the next week in terms of training is tomorrow and Tuesday, I've got strength sessions. Tomorrow a light one, the day after a heavier one. And then, then maybe on Thursday, I might do a Zwift race, either in the morning or towards the evening. Haven't decided yet. Gotta watch out, the Italian guy's getting closer, oh no. Peter in chat says that Ara is the heaviest in terms of body weight of the four. He's also on a 2 seconds gap now, but I don't think it's gonna matter much. By the way, I do promise I will do a sprint at the finish line. Regardless of being fifth and riding alone, I will sprint. So yeah, you've got that to look forward to. Hello, Harry. I don't think Nelson for the win will happen here. That second Manhattan Bridge was too much for me. That said, I really enjoyed today's live stream, I gotta say. Also because it's not like I was climbing all out for an hour, which means that I can talk more to you guys, you know? It's been a bit of an effort on this hill. There we go. 6K to go. Harry, you're right, you're right. I'll win my sprint against my group members. I do kind of like this route. I don't know, it's different. Because I often hear a lot of takes, a lot of people sometimes saying, oh, Zwift doesn't look too realistic with the graphics, too much like a cartoon. I think that's the beauty of it. If I want to see the real world, I'm gonna take my bike and ride outside. The reason I go on Zwift is to be able to ride in a world that isn't out there, to ride climbs that aren't near me. That's my view in it, at least. It's also why I've always found Zwift the most appealing indoor trainer software for me. Because I started falling in love with the sport of cycling, as in professional cycling, watching it through a video game, Pro Cycling Manager, and I started falling in love with riding myself through basically a video game. Zwift, for me, what makes Zwift way more motivating to do, even than outdoor cycling, is the fact that it's gamification, that it's a game. The guy behind me is now on 2 minutes 26, so he came about 40 seconds closer. Mostly because I'm riding 140 watts. But that was the plan, so he won't catch me. If he gets anywhere close, I'll just smash it for the final, you know? Straight back into the metro pretty soon. About half an hour ago, someone in the chat asked about what home trainer setup you should buy. I do need to disclose, I am obviously paid by Zwift. They pay me to promote their hardware. That said, I think my guide is always the following. There's two types of indoor trainers, or actually three types. You've got the wheel-on trainer, which is the kind of trainer where you don't need to take out your back wheel and your bike just slides into the wheel-on trainer. My advice is, if you're a heavier rider, do not go for a wheel-on trainer. Regardless of the brand, if you're a heavier rider, you'll get more, what do you call that, chafing between the tire and the trainer. Your weight pushes the wheel down more. Even with specific trainer tires, it is a horrible experience from my personal experience. Maybe for lighter people it's different, I don't know. Secondary, you've got the trainers in which you, well, it's called direct drive trainers. You take out your back wheel and then you attach your bike without your back wheel to the trainer. I'm a big fan of those kind of trainers. A perfect example of that is the Wahoo Kicker Core 2, which I have right now, which I'm riding, which is also the one that Zwift is looking for me to promote, and I'm very happy about it, about my Zwifts, about my Kicker Core 2. So if you are looking for a direct drive trainer, I think they've got like 150 euros off right now through the link in the description. I think the description says 10%, but there's a special sale going on at the moment. But that's the second option. The third option is the Zwift Ride, which is the whole setup that I have, which is the bicycle from Zwift plus the Kicker Core. It obviously depends. If you've already got a road bike, it might be quite a bit of money to get both the Zwift Ride and the Kicker Core. So then you could opt for just having the Kicker Core with your own road bike and use that combination. Just make sure you get the correct cassette on whatever Kicker Core you buy. But I'm personally heavily into the Zwift Ride because I like having the controls on my steer. I like the virtual gearing aspect of it, even though that's also kind of the case on most Kicker Cores right now, depending on whether you want a cassette or a Zwift cog on it. But the guy behind me is on a minute 59. Aye. Anyway, we will finish 5th place, but I will do a sprint in 3.4 kilometers, so get ready. I'll put my phone to the side to make sure it doesn't fling off the bike here. I hope this tablet is stuck enough. If not, it might fling off as well, but that's the price we pay for a good sprint. Clap My Dog in chat says, I'm not sponsored. The Zwift Ride is amazing for the money. Highly recommend it. It makes me want to ride quite as well. Oh, yeah. As in, it motivates you, right? I think that's true. Partially because what stopped me from getting into exercising when I was heavier back in the day, when I was 130 kilos, was there were always obstacles in the way. For example, riding outside, had to put my full cycling kit on, had to clean my bike every now and then, had to get outside, get on my bike, plan a route maybe for the ride. All kind of small obstacles which, looking back now, just look like laziness, but that's not really it. It's when you're not motivated to get on the bike and do sports, everything that prevents you from getting on the bike or that hinders you from getting on the bike, every small obstacle, it stacks. And another example is then, right now, if I'm editing a video or whether I've been programming for the last couple of days, I'll get to that in a second. I can just say, okay, I feel shit about not having done any exercise today. Let's put my bib shorts on and my shoes. Don't even need to put a top on if I'm not recording. Just jump on the Zwift Ride, ride for half an hour, 45 minutes. Easy, because there's no real obstacles there. Joao says, what do your strength sessions look like? Gym or at home? So right now, my biggest one is with a personal trainer, because 2 months ago, I didn't know anything about doing strength sessions. Didn't know what exercises to do, how to do them, what the form is to do them correctly, which is a big factor, of course. How much I need to do, how much weight I need to use. So I decided to go with a professional dude to actually help me out. Shout out to Moot. He's the guy that does it for me. And that includes obviously starting off with warm-up, regular squats, weighted squats, split squats. I will be really honest, I don't know every name of the exercise yet. But there's something Romanian, something Bulgarian, I don't know, something 45 degrees, Serrano ham, not Serrano ham, Serrano press, Serrano ham, Jesus, you know what I mean, right? So like a proper hour plus full of doing that. And then on top of that, I'm introducing in the last week now an extra strength session in the week that I'm doing at home, which is easier, as in terms of not a full hour, it's like 40 minutes, but just to make sure that in a week where I might not have 5 hours of cycling, that I have an extra strength session to make that up, you know? And next to that, I'd like to ride at least 4 hours on the bike at least I would like to do, which hasn't really happened in the last 2 weeks, which is my fault. I've been enjoying recording Pro Cycling Manager so much that it's actually negatively impacting my riding. So I got to get back to the balance. Small bump right here with 1.6 to go. By the way, do we know who won? That's a good question. The guy behind me is now on 1 minute. He's trying his best. It's funny to see. I give it the full credit. I like that he's really trying. I should probably hurry. Shouldn't I? Let's make him come to like 15 seconds and then go all out. I'm such a horrible person. 49 seconds. Full credit to him, like, he was dropped, he saw me getting dropped, he thought to himself, okay, that guy's not going full, let's make a personal challenge out of catching him. Full credit. But I'm afraid I'm gonna push a little bit now. Ooh, that guy scared me. I thought, is he here already? No, it's someone else. Let's go 200 watts for a bit. Sorry, Bon. I'm afraid it's not happening. I think he's realized it. His watts per kilo were going down. Oh, poor guy. Now I feel bad. Okay. There's a little bit of a sprint at the finish. I don't know if I've got a 1,000 watts in me today, but I'll see what comes out. Oh snap, it's a climb. Oh no. I'm not gonna break, stand, and wait for him, guys, just to do the sprint with him. Might not need to break, stand, and wait because he's getting closer on this climb. He can probably see me. Is it a downhill sprint? I think it might be. It's going to be hard to calculate what gear I need to use to sprint in this downhill. Come on. Whew. Oh, nearly crammed in my ankle there. That was definitely not the cleanest sprint, but I promised you a sprint, and you got a sprint. Recovering for a second. There we go. Route complete. Race complete. That's good. 5th place. It's fine. I like it. I'm happy. Oh, I want to give a massive shout out to 4Endurance for sponsoring this live stream, but more importantly, a shout out to you for standing by my side in this race, supporting me every step of the way. And I actually didn't see who won. Oh, it was Ara, the Spanish guy. So whoever said that in chat, you're right. But thank you very much for the support in this race. I'll do another race live stream somewhere during the week next week. Want to do 2 races per week from this point onwards because I really enjoy them. So that's great. And it's always fun to do live streams with you guys. So thanks for the fun 1 hour. It's been exactly an hour since the race started. So thanks for the support. And I think the next time you'll see me will be on Tuesday, well, actually on Monday on the Lantern Rouge Cycling Podcast, I think, or Tuesday. And then on Tuesday also on my channel with another Pro Cycling Manager career mode. Whew, I'm cooked. So good. Oh. Thanks for watching. And I'll shut up the stream now. So goodbye. Have a good evening. Whew, I'm so done for. That sprint cooked me.